what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you're going to get a prize and find no prize in the box?
You got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
Freehand is beating his net at the plate. Crawford is over there watching. Good see, sir. You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on. Oh, I must be in the front row.
Hey, how's everyone doing out there? Welcome to the Word Home Media presentation of Enemy of My Enemy. I am MVP.
I'm Ryan. Pete over there is a White Sox and Brewers fan. I am a Tigers and Cubs fan. We are two old friends that really want to see each other's teams lose every game. We are Enemy of My Enemy. This is episode 185. We've got a Cubs 10-game winning streak that got snapped, and it's now a 2-game losing streak.
Well, I say you're forecasting and you're seeing the future because there's only 8 to go.
I think that would be a record, like going a 10-game winning streak and then going a 10-game losing streak.
I think they've actually done that before. I don't know. No, not immediately, but they have done that in the same season.
Yeah, we got to look that up. We'll
Pretty sure.
Get our stats intern working on that. But
sure, someone in Chicago has done that.
Yeah, the Cubs had a 10-game winning streak in which at one point an opposing manager should have been fired on the spot. We'll get to that. Your White Sox, you were at the game yesterday?
I was. I didn't even know. We bought some late tickets, because you can do that there. Right. And the weather looked like it was going to be nice, and it ended up being Star Wars Day. So
very cool. May the 4th be with you.
Oh, yes.
It's only April 26th yesterday?
Yeah, I guess you got to do it when you're in town if you're close enough.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that. But you've got a rookie phenom over there in Mune Murakami, who is leading the majors, tied for the lead in home runs. But is he leading a Rookie of the Year race for this podcast between Kevin McGonigle, and now Moisés Ballesteros from the Cubs? I want to talk about that. It's going to be an interesting conversation. Maybe it's already been interesting. I think it's getting more interesting. It might continue to be all year. We'll see. My Tigers, Spencer Torkelson, snapped out of a funk with 5 home runs in 5 straight games. I feel partly responsible for that, and I'll break that down. The Tigers are also, this is kind of underreported, the Comerica Park is going to be renamed in 2027. So I don't really have, I might have some potential ideas for new names, and I'm sure you do, so we'll go over that. Your Brewers are in last place in the NL Central, but they have a winning record. So they're tied for last, but it's probably the best division in baseball. So we will break that down. So I guess we might as well go ahead and jump into the news. Cubs 10-game winning streak snapped in Los Angeles, kind of predictably, as the juggernaut that is the Dodgers won the last 2 games of their 3-game series. Cubs did take game 1 at least, and now they're headed to San Diego tonight for a 3-game. I believe it's a 3-game set, but San Diego is actually leading that division, which is kind of amazing. So Cubs are running a West Coast gauntlet right now, but they also ran roughshod over some of your and my NL East playoff.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean they swept the Phillies. I think we both had them at least in the playoffs. I don't know if we picked them to win the division. But
yeah, playoffs.
I think we both had the New York Mets winning the NL East.
Woo!
But they were, of course, swept out. They were on a 12-game losing streak at one point. I think they finally won a game.
They did win a game after on the 13th day.
I think they're starting, but I think I just looked it up. They've got they're already on a 3-game losing streak. So I gotta talk about Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the New York Mets, or the Mess, as everyone likes to call them, especially now. I didn't know much about Mendoza before this series at all, so it's hard for me to judge the guy based on one action. But I mean, when you have a 12-game losing streak and you cost your team that 12th game, I think it might be grounds for firing. But do you have an opinion about Carlos Mendoza? Did you even know who he was before?
No idea.
Okay. He's been the manager for a couple of years, but underachieving manager considering the Mets have a close to a $500 million payroll and missed the playoffs last year, and now well below 500 in a 12-game losing streak. Like, it almost seems like anybody that has a 12-game losing streak should be let go, but
especially with all the talent on that team. I mean,
it's
seriously,
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
A week ago Sunday was the final game of their series at Wrigley, and it ended up going into extra innings, tied at 1. At which point, of course, Pete Crow Armstrong had made the final out of the 9th inning, so he was the designated runner, the ghosty on second. He got to third on a wild pitch, and up comes Nico Hoerner. And the obvious issue there is you have to strike the next batter out. You can't give up any kind of contact because PCA is on third base and will win the game with any kind of contact, most likely. So the obvious move, and I heard Ron Coomer at least. I was actually listening to that game. I wasn't listening to the TV broadcast, so I'm not sure if they brought it up. But Coomer brought it up the half inning before, saying, "Well, Nico's coming up. You're probably going to walk him no matter what. You know, if PCA is even still on second, you've got the open base, so you're going to walk Nico because he's the Cubs' best hitter. He's also I'd call him top 2 or 3 contact hitter in all of baseball. If you look at his stats, Carlos Mendoza wasn't aware of this or didn't calculate this because he pitched right to Nico, and of course he got the hit, or maybe it was just a fly ball, but won the game very easily, and it could have been avoided. That on top of a 12-game losing streak, you know, even without his comments afterwards, you could argue that he could have been fired for that. But then his comments made it even worse, which is it's just crazy because what he said was he was worried about putting Nico on and then him stealing second because of his speed. I'm like, Carlos, that second base runner, his run doesn't count. It doesn't matter. He would have lost the game because the guy on third scored. There's just some basic misunderstanding of baseball strategy, let alone the player you were talking about specifically is it's the perfect guy to have up if you're the Cubs, the contact hitter. And it was just such an obvious move that you just walk him. Carlos Mendoza didn't even understand that. So, how he has a job still, that's a week ago. And I think they've won 2 games since that span, in a 7-game span. Meanwhile, you've seen Alex Cora from the Red Sox and his whole staff get fired this weekend.
Yeah, finally.
Well, the weirdest part of that is they won a game 16 or 17-1, and then after the game they announced that he was being let go.
Well, they had the respect to let him leave on a winning note.
It's just such a weird thing. I don't think Alex Cora was deserving to be fired. The Red Sox are a special kind of weird organization, actually run by former Cubs executives. But that started long ago with trading away Mookie Betts and continued last year getting rid of Rafael Devers. There's a lot going on in Boston, but there's even more going on in New York. So I guess I'm glad not to be on the East Coast to deal with any of that shit.
Back to this Mendoza character. I mean, okay,
Mendoza!
Like you said, okay, he steals second. Who cares? He's insignificant. It's a tied ball game. Game's over. You're playing the home team. Why? Yep. Who cares? Intentionally walk that guy then.
Yeah.
And then you got the force at the plate.
The weirdest thing is which
is what you want.
Yeah. This is his post-game press conference. He had time to think about he knew he was going to get asked this question. And that is what his calculated response was. It's unreal.
The only way you get PCA out is a force. You're not going to get him on a tag unless it was like bang, bang.
Yeah.
The only way you could possibly get him out the plate is infield in and a force at the plate. So
yeah,
I would, this may go against conventional thinking. I would have walked if at the point he gets to third, I walked the next two batters.
And that's Mendoza mentioned that it was, of course, the middle of the Cubs order coming up. So it's all their best hitters. So, I mean, yeah, why not walk two to put two on or to load the bases? Then you got to force everywhere.
Yeah.
It was senseless. And I mean, I guess if the team had a winning record or anything, you could maybe get away with that. But just on the heels of a 12-game losing streak, it's
that's
just
like a LaRussa
unbelievable.
That's a LaRussa Palooza comment right there.
It is. And we've had a field day occasionally with the New York mess. And it reminded me much of the White Sox era with Tony La Russa.
I mean, that's a Grafal LaRussa special there.
Yeah, it's very Grafal too. Yeah.
I mean, what if the guy seals second? What am I going to do then? I don't know. Intentionally walk him because who gives a fuck?
Yeah. So it was. I just to have that be from the Mets is delicious.
Delicious.
Them sweeping the Mets and the Phillies in a week. It was a blast. Unfortunately, they had to go to the West Coast. And now
they swept the Phillies twice, right?
They did actually, yeah, at home and
away.
And on the road. So
yeah,
at least they won the series. I can't remember if the winning streak started during that. It's a long time ago. It's been 10 days since we podcasted, so struggling over here. But
yeah, well, it's all right. I forgive you.
Yeah. So really, my whole Cubs segment tonight was just a bitch about Carlos Mendoza. It's baffling to me. So I thought that was a fun little tidbit. He still has a job as of, unless your watch is telling you there's an alert.
Hold on. I do have an alert. Let me see. It says Carlos Mendoza is still hired. That's my alert.
That's and then there's the speculation now that Alex Cora is available. Why wouldn't the Mets dump Mendoza and pick up Cora right away? So lots of speculation on the East Coast over there.
Always a story.
Well, you've got a story as you went to the White Sox game.
You're missing your notes. You got to talk about PCA.
Well, we can. I mean, it's just brief. PCA might be the best defender in Major League Baseball and the worst hitter in Major League Baseball, as he currently holds the title of most defensive runs saved as a defender, and he has the highest chase rate in all of baseball, swinging pitches out of the zone. So the dichotomy of PCA continues. What is he, 150, I forget what his contract was, 110 million?
155?
He's a $100+ million player that is can't
$2 billion, was it?
So yes, thanks for reminding me. I'll make sure to keep my notes to you smaller because I wasn't really going to talk about that. But.
Oh no, we had to.
You love it when I have to rip on PCA.
I insist.
Now, can we switch over to your experience at the Sox game yesterday?
Oh yeah, so it was going to be 55 and partly sunny. So the power move there is you get tickets on the third base side because that means you get sun the whole game.
Gotta have sunshine in April.
Yeah. I don't know why those suckers buy tickets on the first base side, but they do.
It's the same scenario at Comerica Park, which we'll bring up a little bit later. I was just at the game 2 weeks ago and we were on the third base side. It was only like 55 degrees, but we were in the sun.
Yeah.
I had to take my sweatshirt off. It was just gorgeous.
Same thing for me. I ended up in short sleeves. I'm sitting there in short sleeves and in jeans, and I'm like, shit, I could have wore shorts. I
was joking about that too when we were at the game. I could have wore shorts and flip flops at this game.
Yeah,
it's been great.
It's so
third base,
sun, beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's my second Sox game of the year. I've really got my money's worth. I've seen 2 games and 20 innings of baseball.
Whoa.
My run differential is 0 because I've seen a 1-run win and a 1-run loss.
We'll call you Even Pete.
Even Pete. That's my and Even Pete. Yeah. So a little heartbreaker yesterday. They went to extras, down, tied 0-0. They let up 2 runs in the top of the 10th. One was a solo home run. And they only could scrap across 1 run in the bottom of the 10th. was a quick game. I saw 10 innings of baseball in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine saying that?
That's
like
nuts.
2 or 3 years ago, it would have been like a 4-hour game.
We got to thank Rob Manfred. He fixed the game.
I got to say, you can't fault that. You really can't. But gorgeous day. It ended up being Star Wars Day. I didn't even know. You would have been so.
I thought that would have been on your alerts on your wristwatch there.
Yeah,
you're a huge Star Wars guy.
I know. But they had this for those of you watching on YouTube. They had this commemorative shirt, one day only. The power of the South Side with Darth Vader.
I just like that
you've a baseball flat.
I like that your franchise has embraced the dark side. Like you're the evil.
Good guys
not really the
black.
Evil Empire, because you don't really dominate the way the Empire did the galaxy. But
what do you mean?
It's a cool shirt though. Congrats. That was free?
No. Yeah. I wish. No. This was a purchase. These are.
I don't know if it was the giveaway.
Oh no giveaway yesterday. It was Kids Day, so
okay.
The kids get the giveaway. Unless you are oddly, here's a nice, fun little story. There was a older parent, probably in their 70s plus, with their, I want to say 30-something daughter, who had a balloon animal in their clear bag from a purchase they made at one of the shops. So I looked over to Robin and said, Does she think just because it's Kids Day and that
they're going to let her run on the field?
You think she's going to run the bases afterwards because she went and got an animal balloon?
I'm guessing it's for a grandchild, the child of the child. But
you would hope. I saw no kids with them, so
they're taking it home.
Maybe.
I don't know how things work on the South Side.
Well, neither do I sometimes. But I would like to say that my partner over here, Smitty. Smitty sent me a very interesting YouTube video.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
week that really kind of explained the way this Amtrak thing's going to work out. And
yeah, let's back up. We gotta explain the situation with your. We talked about this. Is this a month ago now that we talked about the Ishbia?
Yeah, maybe a month.
The Ishbia potential new owner in the future of the White Sox He has purchased the rail yard south of Union Station, the Amtrak rail yard. And you and I did a whole segment about it. I was worried about the logistics of it. Like, it's an active rail line. That's where all the Amtrak trains come into Union Station, one of the busiest stations in the country. All the South and West Metro trains come out of that. Right through the center of that property. So I was trying to figure out how you'd build a stadium while it's an active rail line, in addition to all the rail yard. But we got some clarification about what potentially might happen. I think you and I speculated that this might actually be what they were doing, but there's supposed to be a land swap.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, a land swap. And the one thing is with the land swap, like there's probably would be a moment in time where you probably couldn't park in one of the final couple seasons at the White Sox game in lot A, B, and C.
Yeah, because they're talking about moving the whole giant rail yard, which I learned more, at least in that video they pointed out.
Yeah.
Amtrak was ready to get out of there because they're out of space. They want to build a bigger rail yard. If you swapped land with the White Sox and put, the footprint that is all the parking lots and current
stadium.
Yeah, current stadium, that would be a larger area for them to build on. But again, you bring up a good point. The logistics of all this is mind-boggling. How this could all happen with an active rail line, a team that's trying to play baseball.
Yeah.
82 games this summer. 80, 81. I don't know how any of that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It was always the thing. The story, when it initially broke, was that they had gotten it wrong, and that's the reason I didn't think it was a big deal. They had initially said that it wasn't being used, but only part of it is not being used. Like,
no, it's definitely being used.
Yeah, right. Only part of what I'm saying is like part of the tracks. I think they're just unusable. So they're not able to move trains on those tracks.
But that's probably a tiny fraction of it. I mean,
right, exactly.
Many different rails over there. It's crazy.
Not enough to build a a baseball stadium on.
No.
So I don't know. There's a lot smarter people that are going to work this out that probably have, I don't see anyone committing into either end of this without, formulating some sort of plan that just hasn't been announced yet.
Oh yeah, but this we speculated, a month ago. This could be 10 years down the road before it comes to fruition. So there's a lot of moving pieces in this, but at least that part makes a little more sense, like what where these things would be relocated, but how they do it is the biggest question. This came from this video I sent you. He didn't come up with any of this. He was quoting a story from Socks on 35th blog.
Right.
I'm sure you're a reader of that, but so we got to give proper accreditation to the folks at Socks on 35th. They're the ones that actually broke this story. So the video I sent, this guy was just like telling
breaking it down.
Yeah. And he's like a fancy 100,000 view YouTube guy with all fancy production stuff. So he was doing like spiraling camera views, virtual camera views of what you might be seeing next to the 78 over there and next to the Chicago River. And he was blown away with the vistas, the potential space you've got there. He thought it was even better than what the 78 would have been, which is debatable, but
yeah,
I don't know. It was a cool video at least.
I mean, there'll be a lot to do over there if this all comes together.
Well, and there's more infrastructure that would need to be built. Like that's not a real easy area to get to necessarily. It's not like there's a red line stop like 35th is.
You could get off the red line though and walk. It's a short walk. I mean,
yeah, but you got to have parking lots built. There's just a lot that would have to happen because it's really an industrial area right now. So that's another reason I think this could be up to 10 years down the road before we actually see anything. But and you already pointed out they just need to extend the lease at the current stadium. It's not
right.
It's not like the rate is falling apart right now. So they can live there
it's in fine shape. I was just there.
Yeah. No concrete fell on you from the roof or anything like that?
No, I'll never. That was terrifying back in the day at Wrigley when
I put up the
sitting
nets
there and I see nets and like pieces of concrete in the nets. That. I'm like, I should go.
Back in the old days. That was like 20 years ago now, I think.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know. The good old days.
Put up some nets.
The good old days when I was winning money from Cubs fans on Sammy Sosa's strikeout bets.
Oh, boy.
The good old days.
Gambling before it was legal. Wow.
Yeah, I know. The good old days. But anyway, moving on. We'll continue to update you guys as we get more information on this story. But exciting times, and even if it is a decade down the road. You wonder if at some point, because of relocating the rail yard, if the Sox will end up like Oakland in
Sacramento.
Like a local minor league stadium or something.
Hopefully they don't have to move to Sacramento to play.
No, I meant no. You know what I mean? Fuck you.
Yeah, they play at Kane County, maybe,
or
the South Bend,
or the
that's a Cubs
Schaumburg Boomers.
Oh, that's a really small stadium, isn't it? That's an independent league.
Joliet Jackhammers. What about the Chicago Dogs? That's kind of a normal size stadium.
Yeah. Made the menu boards there for years. You've been there. You've been there.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know that's somewhat of a normal size stadium. So
out in Rosemont, that wouldn't be bad.
Oh
boy,
funny story. Now that you'll enjoy this. I'm at work. Robin's watching the Sox play the Sacramento A's. She has no
first place Sacramento A's, by the way. We should point that out.
Has no background or doesn't remember that they're playing in a minor league stadium now.
Oh, she wasn't aware of the situation.
So I just get this text. She's like, "What the fuck is up with the A's stadium?"
She thought they were in Oakland still?
She's like, "It looks like the Lamont Lightning Stadium."
They play at the
Little League stadiums.
Yeah, they play at Sacramento River Cats, I think it's a AAA Yeah, it's a AAA team. So yeah, it's definitely a minor league park. But AAA parks are generally bigger than the other lower divisions, but
for sure.
But still, it's a far cry from a major league stadium.
And she's like, I explained, she's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
I can't believe she wasn't abreast of this situation because we've been talking about it for years. I thought she was our number one listener.
No, she is not a listener at all. She listens to her other friends' podcasts, but not her partner's podcast.
All right. I'll take offense to that.
Noted. I said noted. Anyway.
Her loss.
Some exciting or interesting times on the South Side. A team that was once starved from home run production is this year currently getting 54% of their runs from the homer.
Oh,
so
wow.
That is kind of an all-in. It's a good and a bad scenario because it's almost like
as long as you're hitting home runs.
As long as you're hitting home runs, you're winning games. And they didn't hit a lot of home runs this weekend against the Nationals, and they lost 2 out of 3. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I did the math this afternoon, and your prediction of the Sox having a winning record at the end of April is not going to happen.
Well, it was a winning April, but they will not have a winning April. It's impossible.
You were omitting the games in March.
Oh yeah, I said they'd have a winning April. That was my quote, was they would have a winning April, not a winning record at the end of the month. At the end of the
okay,
it doesn't matter.
It's a weird caveat, but sorry. The math.
Well, I kind of forgot about the games in March when I said it, but it was my loophole now. It was my loophole to get out of it.
Now I know how your mind works. That's why I was holding your feet to the fire on that.
No, there's no fire here. It's kind of chilly.
But sorry about the math.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get to the White Sox records at the end of the broadcast.
All right.
When an old segment returns for Smitty. But
surprise.
We had some there's always history to be made in baseball since every stat is kept, like number of steps taken to first base and everything you could imagine. And Mune this week had homered in 5 consecutive games, and he's the 13th rookie in all of baseball history to ever do that.
Wow. He's tied for the major league lead in home runs with Juan Alvarez. Which is crazy. That you predicted. I mean, I was ripping you on your April prediction, but you thought he had a chance to be amongst the leaders in home runs, and he has proven to be such.
Yes. What's interesting is there's only one other White Sox player to do that, and it's the forgotten one, Frank Thomas, who in his rookie season yeah, exactly. Who in his rookie season did it twice.
Oh, wow.
Twice in his rookie
5 games
season.
in a row?
Yeah. That's crazy. He was pretty good. He was
pretty good.
Pretty good. I will say, this is shit Pete forgot early. I meant to point this out. They had instead of like the sausage race that's held at the Brewers, it was the same type of costumes running, but it was baseball players, ex-Sox players. And the representation of Sox players was Harold Baines, Bo Jackson, and I want to say was it Ron Kittle? I can't remember what the third one was, but I just want to say Frank Thomas has also been omitted. Representation.
He's going to go on a Twitter rant about that.
Yeah, he's going to be like, I saw the baseball player race, and they didn't even acknowledge me there.
Is this a new Sox thing? Like they just came up with it this week?
I think it's on kids' days.
Oh, okay.
I don't go to
I've never heard of that.
Sunday games, but yeah.
So they got like giant caricature, like bobbleheads?
Yeah, like how the sausages are in those skinny, really tall costumes, but they don't have the big heads? Yeah, it was like that.
Oh. I was thinking it was like the Nationals president's race where they have.
Oh, no. It was closer to the sausage race. They look like sausages as White Sox characters. Maybe they, Drawing Source likes to save a buck. Maybe they had old costumes from Milwaukee and they just painted over them.
Bought the old ones from Milwaukee. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, see? So, the starting rotation for the White Sox starting to come together, looking good. Oddly enough, I don't know if you're aware of this, but one Davis Martin
Davis Martin.
Yeah, Davis Martin. I always get that screwed up. I hate two first names. It's
easy to do. Yeah.
Davis Martin.
Never trust anyone with two first names.
ERA on the season is 2.01. That's second in all of baseball.
Wow.
So there you go. There's your White Sox fun fact of the week.
Well, you brought up Mune Murakami.
Yeah.
He's leading the league in home runs as a rookie even, but is he leading our rookie of the year for the Enemy of My Enemy podcast? We started this season. It was just going to be a race between the your AL Rookie of the Year prediction, and Mune, and my AL Rookie of the Year prediction, Kevin McGonigle from the Tigers. But we realized as a podcast, we could also include Moisés Ballesteros, Mo Baller from the Cubs, as he is a phenomenon. He was born to hit, as it appears. So we were throwing him in there. So we're just going to have hopefully we can talk about this all season long, as it's been interesting for the first month at least. All three who might win our Rookie of the Year. You could argue for Mune, obviously, he's leading the fucking world in home runs. Kevin McGonigle is tied for second in the majors in WAR, tied with one Shohei Ohtani, you may have heard of.
Nope.
The 2 WAR already. And Moisés Ballesteros, I mean, his OPS, I think, is like 1,100 or something. Well, you've got all the stats over there.
I do.
It's interesting because there's there are 3 very different kinds of hitters, but there's compelling arguments for each of them to potentially be leading our Rookie of the Year race as it stands right now.
Yeah. I will say that according to, I'm trying to think of which website sponsors the White Sox, not Bet Rivers. That's not we'll just say FanDuel.
Bet 365?
Yeah, maybe it's Bet 365. Mune has now moved ahead of McGonigle. He's only, to win Rookie of the Year, he's plus 180 and McGonigle is plus 250. And it was reversed. So since this home run surge, they think that Mune is most likely to win.
I've got some arguments against that, but I think the stats might argue against it better than I could.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they do love home runs.
I did simplify the stats that I sent you this time. I'm not bothering with strikeouts because who really gives a fuck? I mean, Mooney's gonna, if he's gonna lead it no matter what. So I didn't think that was fair to keep bringing up the negative stuff. I might as well keep the positive side. So, but I simplified it. I think you brought up, of course, we don't need to include runs or RBI because it's so team dependent.
Yeah,
can't be held against them. But I kept in number of hits, which is really interesting, and of course home runs, OPS, and WAR.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we start with our newest entry, Mo Baller, and to put in perspective why he's here. This, by the way, you also have to begin with an M to be in as part of.
Yeah, it works out.
It has to be an M.
Mooney, our nickname, made up nickname. Of course, Mooney is a perfect nickname. We'll steer away from the cultural appropriations that your broadcasters try to do in the past. Mac G is
not no S, broadcaster.
Okay. Kevin McGonigle doesn't have a nickname, so we're just calling him Mac G for the purposes of this. I want to call him Hacksaw, but that hasn't really caught on, just for the fuck of it. But Mo Baller is just a fantastic name. Moisés Ballesteros. It's just perfect. I mean, he is a baller. So it's fun to add him into the mix here.
All right. So he's got 23 hits, 4 home runs, 1136 OPS, and a 1 WAR in half as many plate appearances as our other 2 candidates.
Yeah, Craig Counsell is very precious about inserting Mo Baller into the lineup so far. He's a platoon player, essentially. So that is going to change most likely. But yeah, he's got 66 plate appearances. I think Mooney's got 120 something. McGonigle's over 100. But he's got the same number of hits as Mooney, 23 apiece, but 7 fewer home runs, of course.
Yeah.
So and now that I'm doing the quick math, I mean, it's not quite, but it's basically half of Mooney's hits are home runs. That's just amazing. I don't know if that's sustainable, but boy.
Well, when you're, what do they call him? A 3 outcome player, right?
He is the quintessential 3 outcome player. That's what's fascinating about this, because we've got the 3 outcome player, the kind of all around hitter, fielder, runner in McGonigle, and we've got just a great hitter in Ballesteros. So.
All right. Moving along, Mune, as you pointed out, 23 hits, 11 home runs, 935 OPS, and a .8 WAR.
I was surprised he had the lowest OPS. I mean, 935 is a fucking awesome OPS. But that's the lowest of our 3 candidates here. So that, not by much under McGonigle, but I mean, Mo Ballers. I mean, what was it? 1136?
Yeah, but Mo Baller's not even listed on any of those lists because of plate appearances.
He doesn't have enough plate appearances yet. So
yeah. And Mune loses his so like I looked it up just to maybe level set this just a little bit. But Mune's slugging percentage.
You don't trust me in my stats, do you?
No, the OPS are right, but all his OPS is slugging percentage.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's kind of why I included hits.
He's second in AL and like 5th in all of baseball with slugging percentage.
Yeah, I mean OPS, contains walks, hits, and slug, but that's why I included the hits as a separate category, just so it kind of breaks that out a little bit. And it was interesting that Mo Baller and Mune had the exact same number of hits. That's why I came up with that. But
and then Mac G, who's got an insane amount of hits, 35, 2 homers.
That's like I looked that one up. That's like 6th in Major League Baseball right now, which is pretty damn good for a rookie. But he's not leading it the way Murakami is home runs.
951 OPS, a 2 WAR, tied with Ohtani, as you pointed out.
Yeah, I put an excellent. I told you what that's for. I put exclamation points next to the categories that each of the 3 players is leading the others in. But thank you for enunciating the exclamation point after 2. WAR!
It seemed the best one to do it on, so that's why I only say this. It's not the same as going to 1136 OPS.
I was just amazed that he's tied for 2nd in all of Major League Baseball with a 2 WAR, and then he's tied with Shohei Ohtani of all people. So that's nuts. Although Ohtani's been off to a terrible offensive start. He's gotten most of that out of his pitching.
Yeah, his pitching is insane. Holy shit.
Which is a whole different story, but
it sure is.
So, I mean, this is just a running race. I mean, by the end of the year, we're going to have our Rookie of the Year, so we're just going to keep accumulating stats. So this is not a decision to make today, but I mean, just for the fun of it, I think I'd put McGonigle first. I think I'd put Mo Baller third, just because he doesn't have enough plate appearances. Once he gets up to a representative number, I think if he's still got 1100 OPS, then it becomes a different conversation. But I've got Mooney in a close second behind McGonigle.
Yeah, I would keep it the same way. I mean, you can't. In fact, I saw one of McGonigle's. I was watching the Brewers Tigers game.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit.
And he had one right off the top of the wall. So like
he's had a bunch he's had he could have had like 3 more, at least 3 more that I've seen that hit off the top of the wall that could have been home runs, but he's only got 2 home runs in the year. So
I've always said anyone who's clocking a bunch of doubles, normally those are balls that are home runs on better weather days. I mean, because those are really hard. A double is, to me, it's usually a ball that's hit equally as hard as a home run. It just either didn't get enough
wrong
trajectory under it, or again, like there were plenty of deep fly balls in the game on Sunday, but it's cold. It's not humid. It's not as humid as it's gonna be, and you're gonna see a lot of that early. So,
and for McGonigle to have 20 points higher OPS than Mooney, but have 9 fewer home runs, that tells you what he's putting up in the doubles. And I think he might have 2 triples, but it's mostly doubles.
He has 2 triples because he's tied with. There's 3 guys with 2 triples.
Yeah, part of that is Comerica Park is very very triples friendly over its history because of the cavernous outfield. So that's going to lend to it, but you got to hit the ball hard to do it. So. Yeah, I think this is a fun conversation. I mean, I'm keep it's getting more interesting that now that we're throwing Mo Baller into this, but I think this is kind of amazing. We cover 4 teams here, and 3 of them have real legit Rookie of the Year candidates. I mean, Mo Baller happens to be in the National League, but doesn't really matter. You know what? I didn't look too closely at the Brewers roster if they have any. They don't have any rookies that are making headlines necessarily, unless they're counting Mizorowski as a rookie still.
I don't know. I'll have to see what his qualifications are.
We might add him in. It's hard to. We've got 3 hitters, and if that's the case, we've got 3 hitters and 1 pitcher. So that's going to.
Yeah, no. I think they do
works,
have. They have that one. What's his name? It escapes me. They have. He's not doing anything really much right now, though.
Yeah, they signed a kid like right as the season started for close to $100 million, but I don't know who that is. You'll have to keep me. We're new with the Brewers over here, so we'll get more up to speed on that stuff. Maybe someone will emerge. We'll have all 4 teams represented in our Rookie of the Year race, but I'm happy with how that's turning out so far.
We were worried there's always the chance it could have been the worst conversation to have with.
Yeah.
Well, we got an OPS of 640. But
kill that segment.
We were both right that both of these guys were going to make a splash in baseball this season.
Boy,
so
have they done that? My goodness.
Can't wait for that first matchup that's coming like at the end of the fucking baseball season between the Tigers and White Sox.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's like another month away still, I think.
Well, it's because the fucking Tigers only play National League teams. They've only played in this whole. We've been playing baseball for a month now. Tigers, I think it's only 2 American League teams they've faced.
Yeah, and we both.
And they're playing the Braves this week. What were we saying?
I think the only AL Central team we've played is Kansas City, and you too, right?
I think. Well, we played Minnesota. Yeah, we played Kansas City too, but so maybe it's 3 out of how many series they played so far. But
it's crazy.
We played your Milwaukee Brewers last week. We were in Cincinnati this week, and now we're heading to Atlanta. As we transition over to my Tigers. First place Tigers, by the way, that are in a flat-footed tie with the Cleveland Guardians, top of the AL Central. It's been a long journey from a once 4-9 record to being just over 500. It's been a crazy ride. A lot of winning streaks, a lot of losing streaks, a lot of struggling from one Spencer Torkelson, which I'm going to offer an apology to the people of Detroit, as I feel responsible for the struggles of Spencer Torkelson, because I drafted him on my championship defending Capital City Dirtbags fantasy team, and clearly the burden of trying to carry the Tigers and manning first base for them, and also being my corner infielder, was too much for him, as I finally had to let him go as last week, as he had a 186 batting average. Watching him every night, he just looked clueless at the plate, just striking out at an inordinate rate. And I feel responsible because as soon as I dumped him from my team, he has hit 5 home runs in 5 straight games, completely coming out of the whatever funk I put on him. So I want to apologize to the city of Detroit and all Tigers fans, but I also want to say you're welcome that I dropped him. So I don't know how to explain Torque. I mean, you knew the turnaround's coming because he does this. He's terrible to start the season, and then he ends up hitting 30 home runs. I ran out of patience because we're in such a shallow AL only league. There are other options I could go with.
Definitely.
But I can't believe that the moment I dropped him, he immediately goes off. But I'm elated for him as a Tigers fan. I'll deal with it. I'll just have to cry on my pillow. All my I think it's 8 championship trophies now I have in our fantasy league, 7 or 8, something like that. So
blah 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 blah. So I believe when you cry on the pillow, they call that the tears of a clown.
Yes, it's been said. I guess the only other Tigers news I've got has kind of been underreported, as this has kind of been on the horizon for a long time, but it's been mentioned again in recent weeks, is Comerica Park, who I just talked about briefly about its cavernous outfield. They're going to get a name change as of 2027, and it's for just corporate bullshit reasons. Comerica Bank. I had never heard of Comerica Bank. Have you ever heard of Comerica Bank? I think it might just be a Detroit thing, or I don't know what it is, but
no.
I don't even know if they're in Lansing here, just 90 minutes up the road. They were bought by Fifth Third Bank. You've probably heard of Fifth Third Bank. I'm assuming they're in Chicago. You've heard of them at least.
Yeah, I know Fifth Third.
They have a close relationship with a lot of minor league teams, including my Lansing Lugnuts. I've been making wall pad ads for them, different sponsorship things for Fifth Third Bank. Very familiar with them in a lot of ways. They are actually the name sponsor of the Toledo Mud Hens Stadium, Fifth Third Field, just down the road from Detroit, our Tigers AAA affiliate. So it's being speculated that the new Comerica Park is going to just be called Fifth Third Field, which would be really confusing considering Toledo is already called Fifth Third Field. There was actually another Fifth Third, I don't know if it's park or field, in South Carolina at a minor league team down there. So it's just kind of an odd thing. And Fifth Third, by the way, is kind of the dumbest name for a bank that I can imagine. I mean, not that banks have cool names, but what the fuck is Fifth Third? Like there was a First Third Bank, a Second Third Bank. Now we're up to the Fifth Third Bank. I mean, their logo is a fraction, 5/3, and that's actually 1 2/3 or 1.6666 if you want to do the full math on it. It's just a bad brand. In fact, I've mentioned I've worked with their logos. Their branding it's like a lime green and royal blue, which is not a great combination. I'm not really looking forward to this, I guess, is what I'm saying. The Comerica Park, like I said, I've never even heard of Comerica Bank. Probably the only reason I know of Comerica Banks is because they sponsored Comerica Park since 2000, since it opened. So I guess in that regard, that was good marketing on their part, because I wouldn't even know who they were aside from that. I guess I'm bringing this up on the podcast because I want to. It's our podcast. But you've also gone through these things multiple times with your White Sox. Not that it's a big deal, but this is a perfect eye wash segment. Is shit that really doesn't matter about baseball, but kind of fun to talk about. But I mean, you had, of course, the original Comiskey. Then it was it briefly called New Comiskey? Is that what it?
No, it was just called Sox Park.
It was called Sox Park. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it became U.S. Cellular Field, which is the best nickname ever, the Cell. Then comedically became Guaranteed Rate Field with the downward facing arrow, which is so apropos at the moment. And now it's just called Rate Field.
Yeah, Rate
which
Field.
Is fine. It's just a little more awkward, but not that anybody notices anymore. Does it still have the downward facing arrow, or do they get rid of that?
No, I think it's still there. I don't know.
Well,
I haven't really paid attention.
They're not really sure what Comerica Park is going to be called. I mean, of course, before that we had Tiger Stadium, which the classic bandbox for close to 100 years the Tigers played in, won 4 World Series in. So you can't go back and call the new park Tiger Stadium at Fifth Third Field or something like that. That's the Tiger Stadium is something completely different. You can't. They won't do that. So there's kind of been, I don't know if there's been speculation, but they're just trying to figure out. I can't figure out what they would call this. Like, do they get cute with it and something with the Tiger's Den or the Jungle or something like that, and the Fifth Third Jungle? Like, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna call it, but that's gonna be. I mean, at least for Detroit, it's gonna be a big topic in the offseason that we'll be talking about. So I just thought it was interesting that it came up this week. The corporate merger happened, I think, over a year ago. So we knew this, most likely the Comerica brand would be going away completely. So the other thing I don't really get as a graphic designer, I don't know how they're going to marry the Tigers brand. Of course, the dark navy and the orange, how that's going to marry with Fifth Third's lime green and royal blue. Like, it's just sounds like a mess to me. It's kind of bothering my brain, but that's my life. That's what I do. I think about things like this.
What do you think? Someone else might just swoop in or did Comerica have naming rights for an extended period?
I think forever. Yeah. So now it's just being absorbed by Fifth Third. Unfortunately, I don't know. Is there a bank that would be better if it was taken over by? I don't know if there's a cooler bank name. Chase.
Well, Chase would be good for Wrigley because of PCA.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Well played, sir. Of course, Wrigley, the original corporate sponsored ballpark.
No one likes to talk about that.
No, of course not. They don't get a dime for that, though.
No, I know.
So
not anymore.
Yeah, they should, but that's all I've got for this week for the Tigers, at least, I believe, unless I forgot something on my list. Do you have my outline over there?
I do. The only thing was we were going to just sweep right into the Milwaukee with the Brewers. And,
yeah. It's a perfect segue that I forgot to do.
Yeah, the Brewers and the Tigers squared off, and the Tigers
took 2 of 3.
2 out of 3.
It was a good series. Brewers kicked the shit out of us in game 1. It's like 12-4 or something.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty optimistic.
Yeah, and it was two tight games after that, so Tigers pulled it out.
We were originally supposed to actually record the podcast the next day, so you got to miss out on me calling for the sweep and all that good stuff I would have done.
That would have been shocking. A shocking prediction out of you.
I know. That's why I wanted to surprise you.
I'm surprised you're not still predicting a sweep, even though they've already lost 2-1.
Well, I don't believe it. I've been rolling back the video, and I think there's some doctoring that's been done, some AI.
All right.
But, wow, the Brewers, despite having a winning record, as you pointed out, are in last place right now in the NL Central.
The NL Central is just fucking nuts. The Cubs went on a 10-game winning streak, and they're still in second.
Yeah.
Or are they tied? Maybe they're tied with the Reds.
No, they are a game out right now.
1 game out. Okay.
Pittsburgh's 2, Brewers are 3.5, along with the Cardinals.
Yeah, you're talking about the Cardinals, who both you and I completely wrote off going into this season.
Yeah. But, Cincinnati and the Cubs are, since he's 7-3 in the last 10, the Cubs are 8-2, and the rest of the teams are all 5-5. So that's how you get to where you're at in this division.
It's the only division that has all winning records. No one else is even close, I don't think. So I mean, you got to call the NL Central the best division in baseball.
Yeah, I think it was pretty close to the best division in baseball at the same time last year too.
Oh, is it? I don't remember that, but you could be right.
I am right, which brings me to my AskCult question.
Oh, you are right.
Smitty, as a fan of
the
Cubs and the Tigers,
yes.
What are your feelings about their performances so far this year? Do you think that they have what it takes? Do you think they're better than last year's teams, or the same, or worse?
It's so weird. I'll start with the Tigers because they were the best team in the American League for the whole first half. They were the first team to 20 wins, first team to 30 wins, 40, 50, 60. I think it was up to 70 wins. They were the first team in Major League Baseball to get to those milestones. And then they just dropped off for the last 2 months. They were one of the worst teams in baseball. So no, there's no way they're on pace with what they were doing last year, but they might. I think I ended up predicting that they'd win 1 more game than they did last year because I thought they'd be a little more even, which has proven to be true so far. Is there 1 game over 500?
Yeah.
Cubs are a different Cubs. Like you and I talked about before the season started with our Nostradamus predictions, that they're basically they brought back almost the same team, if not a little bit weaker, as they lost Kyle Tucker but added Alex Bregman. I didn't know that Cade Horton would be hurt so early in the season, but that hasn't. I mean, obviously they just went on a 10-game winning streak without him, so that hasn't affected them at this point. Cubs injuries are piling up, which is going to be a bigger story down the road. They're among the leaders in injuries, but specifically pitcher injuries, which is a real problem. So your question was if they're better at this point in the season?
Do you think they're a better team than last year's team, or just the same?
I think the Cubs are the same. I think the Tigers are not as good as last year, just because they were so good in the first half last year. So does that answer your ask Cole question?
Yeah, and you are correct. The Tigers currently are 2 games worse than they were at the same time last year.
It's only 2 games. I thought it'd be worse than that. Okay.
The Cubs have the exact same record as we predicted would happen.
Wow.
Oddly enough, Milwaukee is 2 games better than they were last year at this same point.
Really? That's amazing, because I thought they had just pulled away from the beginning.
And Cincinnati was only trailing the Cubs by 2.5 games at this point last year.
Look at you doing all this research, boy.
So in the NL Central, I'm super comfortable right now. I don't think we're going to see much different from how things were last year. What's even more exciting on my end of baseball, of this podcast, is the Sox are 4 games better than they were.
I was going to say, you've got to be way better. I mean, that's a low bar, though.
They're 3.5 games out of first right now. They were 10 games out of first at the same time last year.
Yeah, I believe that.
I am quite optimistic. I think one half of this podcast teams are trending up, and the other half is on a straight line heading downward.
I guess I can't argue with your math over there. Look at you over there doing some big research. I had no idea. You're so proud of you're so proud of yourself too. Look at that smile.
I had a gut. I felt like we were I every now and then, like, little conversations we had from the year prior pop in my head, and baseball's somewhat repetitive from year to year at times. So
that's why it's fun to compare. That's a great segment. We should do this once a month, probably, see where we're at.
So there you go. The Cubs are the Cubs. So Craig Counsell will figure out a way to fuck this up again, and
only make the NL Division Series again, one game away from the championship.
There you go.
It's a bummer.
1 game away. It is a bummer. Other Brewers news. One of the reasons the Brewers are 5-5 in their last 10 is they're in a bit of a power outage, one might say. They have not, I got to make sure I get this right, I believe they have not had a home run since April 19th.
Oh, boy.
It's been a week.
The 27th?
It's been a week.
That's nuts.
It's been a week. And
Tigers pitching suppressed that. I can't believe it didn't hit a home run in the 12-run game you had last week.
No, it's been 7 games without a home run.
Oh, boy.
It's fucking crazy. Yesterday, however, they ended up not getting swept by Pittsburgh, which Pittsburgh hasn't swept the Brewers at home in like decades. But the only reason they didn't get swept was because Kyle Harrison struck out 12. And you may know Kyle Harrison if you've been listening to this podcast for quite some time, because he was supposed to be the next big thing for the San Francisco Giants a couple years back. And the Giants
Adames trade?
Yeah, the Giants traded him at the trading deadline. The Adames trade to.
Thank you.
Not the Adames trade to the Giants. No, because the Giants traded him to Boston at the deadline last year, and he left the Giants with like a 4.56 ERA. So like a quality start guy, but nothing great. But when he got to Boston, his ERA for his games in Boston was only 3. And now his ERA with the Brewers is barely above 2.
I'm confused. Where did he come from?
Yeah, he was a free agent that they signed. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm learning your Brewers. I don't pay close attention to your roster, but
you should, since they always beat the Cubs. But anyway, moving on. So that was the reason, not due to any surge in power. So we'll see if the Brewers can turn that around.
You've had a tough road, though. I know on Thursday of last week, you faced Tarek Skubal in Detroit, reigning AL Cy Young Award winner, two-time reigning Cy Young Award winner. The next day, you went to Pittsburgh to face Paul Skeens, the two-time reigning NL Cy Young Award winner. So I forget if that's ever been done before, but that was a topic. That's a tough 2 games.
It is a tough 2 games.
Hitters. That would explain the lack of home runs, at least in those 2 games.
For sure. Skubal, speaking of Skubal, Brewers' own Mizorowski has topped Skubal for the fastest strikeout pitch with a 102.7.
Yeah, beat Skubal's 102.6 about a year ago this month. So
I mean,
that was interesting tidbit for this new version of our podcast comparing the Tigers and Brewers.
But in the end,
congratulations to Mizorowski, the Miz.
The Miz, yeah. So
isn't that like a pool player? Is that where that
the Miz? Comes from? The Miz is
Massey, the Black Widow.
I don't know. I think
billiards.
That's it. I think that's it for this podcast this week. On that note,
we want to start a billiards podcast. We could.
I think we're more. I think we're real estate with how the Sox are going to navigate a train yard swap. So we're like real estate train
baseball
podcast.
/ real estate podcast. That is a niche market right there. We'll see how that goes. But we could get
not a lot of people going to be listening to that one.
we're already there, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, true. It won't matter then.
Well, with that, I think we can wrap up this episode 185 of Enemy of My Enemy. You can find us online on social media at EnemyBall and on the web at enemyball.com. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/EnemyBall. And you can find this podcast anywhere you'd like to find a podcast. So with that, I'm going to declare this podcast is over. Peace.
Peace.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
One guy poured beer all over my head. The guy said, how can you take that? I said, look, that man didn't do nothing. He poured some beer on my head. He's just showing he's a White Sox fan. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Sparky, a million thanks for, as always, the most interesting interview. And now today, let's just have a lot of thrilling baseball and not so many fisticuffs.
We're at home